A woman is in shock when she catches a small child being abandoned in the middle of a road. And when she approaches the child, Charlotte, at 35 years old, was a striking figure at the local hospital. Tall, with brown hair and green eyes, her presence radiated confidence and compassion. Every day, at the break of dawn, she took the winding road that led to her job. During these solitary journeys, Charlotte took the time to reflect on her life, her dreams, and the challenges she faced. Each sunrise was a new opportunity to make a difference in someone's life. At the hospital, Charlotte was known for her welcoming smile and skillful hands. Her fellow nurses admired her for her patience and tireless dedication. She was always willing to offer a friendly shoulder or stay up all night caring for the most critical patients. The constant sound of heart monitors, the smell of antiseptic, and the frenetic movement of the emergency teams were the soundtrack of her life. Despite her intense routine, Charlotte found moments of joy in the small victories of the day. Like that afternoon when she managed to calm an elderly patient by telling stories about her own childhood adventures, or when she made a child smile after a painful procedure. Every smile, every expression of gratitude fueled her passion for nursing. The days passed quickly, but the nights were long and lonely. At home, Charlotte barely had time to rest. Her elderly parents depended on her care, especially her mother, whose health was declining. But Charlotte never complained, always finding strength in the dedication and love she felt for them. She believed that true strength came from the heart. The hospital was a microcosm of intense emotions, and Charlotte was an anchor for everyone around her. Her ability to remain calm amid chaos was admirable, like the time when an unexpected emergency arose, and she, without hesitation, led the team to save a life. The gratitude in the eyes of the families was the reward she valued most. However, not everything was joy at the hospital. Charlotte also faced moments of pain and loss, and these moments left deep marks on her soul. She learned to deal with death and to value life even more. Every patient she lost was like a small part of herself that faded away, but she never stopped fighting, believing that every effort was worth it. Charlotte knew that her life was a journey of sacrifices and rewards. The road she traveled every day symbolized the highs and lows of her existence. And despite the difficulties, she remained steadfast, guided by a higher purpose, to care for and save lives. That was the essence of who she was, and nothing in the world could divert her from this path. Charlotte knew no rest. Besides the long hours at the hospital, her nights were filled with incessant care for her parents. Her father, a man with a strong spirit but a body weakened by time, always greeted her with a tired smile. "How was your day, my daughter?" he asked, trying to hide his worry. Charlotte always responded with optimism, even though her body cried out for rest. Her mother, a woman once full of life and energy, now battled a debilitating illness. Charlotte carefully prepared special meals, adjusted the medications, and ensured her mother was comfortable. "Thank you, dear. You are our strength," her mother said, her eyes brimming with gratitude. Each word warmed Charlotte's heart, giving her the energy needed to continue. The house they lived in was modest, filled with memories of happier times. Family photographs adorned the walls, reminders of a childhood full of love and laughter. On the quietest nights, Charlotte sat on the porch with her parents, telling stories from the hospital and listening to their memories. "Do you remember the time we went to the lake?" her mother began, and soon they were all laughing, forgetting the difficulties for a moment. Charlotte's rare and precious days off were entirely dedicated to the family. "You should rest, my daughter," her father said, worried about the visible exhaustion in her eyes. "Don't worry, Dad. You did so much for me. Now it's my turn to take care of you," she replied with a gentle smile. This cycle of mutual care was the foundation of the family. Charlotte's life was a constant dance between the hospital and her home, but she never complained. Sacrifice was part of who she was. Her colleagues at work, amazed, often asked how she managed. "Love moves me," Charlotte replied without hesitation. And that love was evident in every gesture, every look, every word she dedicated to her parents. Even with the heavy burden, Charlotte found small moments of joy. Like when she prepared her mother's favorite breakfast and saw her smile light up. Or when she read to her father the chapters of books he could no longer read on his own. "You have always been a good daughter," he said, stroking her hand. These words were the fuel that kept her going. Mornings began early with Charlotte adjusting her mother's pillows and checking vital signs. "Another day, Mom. We are in this together," she murmured, planting a kiss on her mother's forehead. The response was a weak but loving hand squeeze. These routines, though tiring, were the bond that united the family and gave meaning to Charlotte's life. In the moments of greatest exhaustion, Charlotte found comfort in faith. A small altar in a corner of the living room was her refuge. There, she lit candles and made silent prayers. "Give me strength to continue," she asked, feeling a serene calm envelop her heart. This daily practice helped her face challenges with renewed hope. Charlotte's friends were few but loyal. They understood her absence from social gatherings and supported her in every possible way. "Whenever you need a shoulder, we are here," said her best friend, Haley. These words were a reminder that despite everything, Charlotte was not alone. She had a support network ready to help her through the toughest moments. The neighbors, always attentive, frequently offered help. "Can I do the shopping for you?" suggested Mrs. Mary, the next-door neighbor. "I accept with gratitude," Charlotte replied, realizing that accepting help was also part of her strength. These community interactions were a constant reminder that even amid sacrifices, there was kindness and solidarity around her. It was a quiet night at the local hospital, or so it seemed. The fluorescent lights illuminated the silent corridors as Charlotte made her night rounds. Her steps echoed softly on the waxed floor, a contrast to the usual frenzy of a daytime shift. The peace, however, was only superficial, as an unsettling feeling lingered in the air. Charlotte knew that nights like this often preceded something unexpected. The clock showed a little after 2 in the morning when the tranquility was broken by the shrill sound of the emergency alarm. "Code blue in the ICU," announced the voice on the loudspeaker, and Charlotte felt a chill down her spine. Without hesitation, she ran down the hallway, feeling adrenaline pulse through her veins. The ICU was just a few meters away, but the run seemed eternal. "Hold on tight," she shouted, already putting on gloves as she entered the room. In the ICU, the scene was chaotic. Doctors and nurses moved with precision, each playing their part in a choreography of life and death. In the center, a young patient with an expression of agony on his face. "What do we have?" Charlotte asked, taking her position. "Cardiac arrest, unresponsive to medication," replied the doctor, sweating under the mask. Charlotte began chest compressions. Every second felt like an eternity. The heart monitor showed a flat line and time seemed to run against them. "Come on, we need another dose of adrenaline," ordered the doctor, while Charlotte continued the compressions. The faces around were tense, but determined. Suddenly, a beep, followed by another. "We have a pulse," someone shouted, and a collective sigh of relief swept through the room. Charlotte felt her legs tremble but maintained her composure. As the patient was stabilized, Charlotte was called to another emergency. The night was far from over. Entering the emergency room, she found a young mother in premature labor, surrounded by doctors. "Charlotte, we need you here," called the obstetrician. Charlotte took her position, holding the young mother's hand, who cried in fear and pain. "You can do it, I'm here with you," she murmured, trying to calm her. The delivery room was a whirlwind of emotions. The contractions intensified and the medical team moved swiftly. "Push," Charlotte encouraged, while the mother screamed. Minutes that seemed like hours passed until a sharp cry filled the air. A baby, small but alive, had arrived in the world. Charlotte handed the newborn to the mother's arms, who now cried with relief and joy. "You did it," she said, smiling despite the exhaustion. Amid the chaos, Charlotte found a moment of peace. She watched the mother and baby, feeling a wave of satisfaction. but the night gave no respite. A nurse ran into the room. "Charlotte, we need you in the surgery room now." Taking a deep breath, she stood up, her legs heavy, but her spirit unbreakable. "Let's go," she murmured to herself, following the call. In the surgery room, a car accident had brought a patient in critical condition. The chief surgeon, Dr. Davis, was about to begin the procedure. "We need all the help we can get," he said, his voice grave but steady. Charlotte positioned herself beside him, ready to assist. The operation was delicate, a precise dance between life and death. The hours dragged on. Every move was crucial. As she held the instruments, Charlotte noticed the exhaustion in Dr. Davis' eyes. "You're doing great," she said, her voice low but encouraging. He nodded, continuing the operation with the dexterity that came from years of experience. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the surgery was over. "We are done," Dr. Davis said, removing his mask and revealing a tired smile. Charlotte felt a deep sense of relief. Leaving the surgery room, Charlotte was greeted by an almost supernatural silence in the corridors. The night was almost over, but the hospital still breathed. She walked to the break room, where she found Haley, her best friend and colleague, waiting with a cup of hot coffee. "You're a hero, you know that?" Haley said, handing the coffee over. Charlotte smiled, grateful for the silent and constant support. Sitting in the break room, Charlotte finally had a moment to reflect on the night. Each emergency, each life touched, reinforced her purpose. Even exhausted, she knew that every sacrifice was worth it. That night, Charlotte drove back home after an especially exhausting shift. The sky was covered by a thick layer of clouds, and the road seemed like a solitary and endless corridor. The darkness was interrupted only by the headlights of her car, cutting through the dense fog. As Charlotte's eyes struggled to stay focused, something on the shoulder caught her attention. A small, motionless figure, briefly illuminated by the headlights. Charlotte slowed down and frowned, trying to discern what she was seeing. As she got closer, her heart sped up. She stopped the car, turned on the hazard lights, and quickly got out, feeling the night's cold penetrate her skin. The small figure was a child, a girl of about 3 years old, with blonde curls and a pink dress. Charlotte crouched beside the girl, who was sobbing softly, trembling with fear and cold. "Hey, little one, are you okay?" Charlotte asked, trying not to scare her further. The girl raised her big, bright eyes, filled with tears, to Charlotte. I don't know where I am," she whispered, her voice broken by sobs. Charlotte felt a wave of concern and urgency. There was no one around, and the child was clearly lost and scared. Who would leave her there, alone, in the middle of the night? Without hesitation, Charlotte picked the girl up, feeling the fragile and cold body against hers. "Let's go. He'll take you to a safe place," she said, trying to convey calm. She walked back to the car, her mind working quickly to understand what to do next. "What is your name?" she asked, while settling the girl in the back seat and covering her with a blanket she always kept there for emergencies. "Leah," the girl replied, still sobbing. Charlotte turned on the car heater, trying to create a more comfortable environment for Leah. "It's okay, Leah, I'm here with you. I won't leave you alone," she promised. As she drove, her mind buzzed with questions. Who could have abandoned such a small child? And why? Charlotte's nurse and caregiver instinct propelled her to protect and console Leah, but she knew she needed to find out more about what had happened. She decided that the best option was to take her home, where she could care for her and make some calls to try to find the girl's family. During the journey, Charlotte tried to distract Leah with soft conversations. "Do you like playing with dolls, Leah?" she asked. "Yes, I have a doll named Sophia," Leah replied, her voice still trembling but a little calmer. "Sophia is a beautiful name," Charlotte said, smiling in the rearview mirror. Arriving home, Charlotte carefully entered, carrying Leah in her arms. Her parents, who were already used to their daughter's unexpected stories, looked at her with concern. "Charlotte, what happened?" her father asked. "I found this little one on the road, alone." We need to find out where she came from, Charlotte explained while placing Leah on the couch and wrapping her in a warm blanket. Her mother approached, stroking the girl's hair. "You're safe now, dear," Charlotte's mother said, her voice soft and reassuring. Leah looked around, her eyes still wide with fear, but began to relax under the gentle care. Charlotte prepared a mug of hot chocolate, a drink that always brought comfort in difficult moments. "Here, take a little sip. It will make you feel better," she said, handing the mug to the girl. Leah looked at the steaming liquid with curious eyes and took a small sip, feeling the warmth spread through her body. A timid smile appeared on her face, the first expression of comfort since Charlotte found her. Charlotte sat next to Leah, holding her small hand. "Do you want to tell me what happened, Leah?" she asked, trying to soften the moment. Leah looked down, fiddling with the blanket. "I don't know. I was with my mommy, and then I was alone," she said, her voice trembling. Charlotte felt a pang in her heart upon hearing this, but remained calm. "It's okay. Now you're safe here with me," she assured, gently squeezing her hand. Charlotte knew she needed to assess Leah's physical health to ensure there were no hidden injuries or problems. "Let's take a look at you, okay?" she asked, receiving a hesitant nod in response. She took her first aid kit, which she always kept nearby, and began to carefully examine the girl. "If something hurts, you let me know, okay?" Charlotte said, maintaining a reassuring tone. As she checked Leah, Charlotte noticed some scratches on her arms and legs, probably caused by the roadside vegetation. "I'm going to clean these wounds to prevent infections, okay?" she asked, and Leah nodded. Charlotte took cotton and antiseptic, gently cleaning the scratches. "You're very brave, you know that," she commented, trying to keep the environment light. Leah watched every move, trusting Charlotte more and more. Charlotte never imagined that finding Leah on that dark road would awaken something deep and instinctive within her. There was something in the girl's big, scared eyes that touched a special place in Charlotte's heart. Leah was not just an abandoned child. She was now a responsibility, a life that depended on her. And Charlotte felt an overwhelming urge to protect and care for the little girl, as if she were her own daughter. Taking her inside the house, Charlotte moved with a delicacy and attention that even surprised herself. She prepared a warm bath, trying to make the water the perfect temperature. "Come on, dear. This will make you feel better," she said, helping Leah into the tub. The girl, still scared, let herself be cared for, feeling the security emanating from Charlotte. It was as if somehow she knew she was in good hands. As she washed Leah's golden curls, Charlotte talked softly, trying to calm the girl. "Do you like baths, Leah?" she asked with a comforting smile. Leah timidly nodded. "My mommy used to sing to me during the bath," the girl whispered. Charlotte felt a pang of sadness for Leah, but also a desire to fill the void. "How about I sing a song for you now?" she suggested, starting to hum a soft melody. After the bath, Charlotte wrapped Leah in a soft towel and took her to the guest room. "This will be your little corner for now," she said, showing the cozy room. Leah looked around, her eyes curious and a bit calmer. Charlotte helped Leah change clothes, choosing a clean and comfortable pajama that belonged to her niece. "There, now you're warm and safe," she said, pulling the blanket up to Leah's chin. She sat next to her again, continuing to hold her hand. "If you need anything, I'm right here," she assured, looking into the girl's eyes with an expression of affection and protection. Leah began to relax, her eyes heavy with sleep after the trauma and exhaustion. Charlotte knew that sleep was important for physical and emotional recovery. "You can sleep, Leah. It'll be here when you wake up," she whispered, stroking the girl's golden hair. Leah finally gave in to sleep, her breathing becoming regular and deep. Charlotte stayed by her side, feeling relieved to see her rest. While Leah slept, Charlotte couldn't help but think about what might have happened to the girl's parents. Who would leave a child alone on the road? The question swirled in her mind, but she knew that the most important thing now was Leah's well-being. She picked up her phone and started searching for information and resources that could help. Each step was an act of love and determination as she planned the next steps to protect Leah. During Leah's sleep, Charlotte prepared a nutritious meal for when the girl woke up. She thought of every detail, choosing foods that were easy to digest and that she would probably like. The aroma of vegetable soup began to fill the house, bringing a sense of home and warmth. "Everything will be all right," Charlotte murmured to herself as she stirred the soup carefully, hoping Leah would wake up hungry. Hours later, Leah woke up, still a little scared, but visibly calmer. Charlotte was there, as promised, with a comforting smile. "Hi, sleepyhead. Are you feeling better?" she asked, helping the girl sit up. Leah nodded, rubbing her eyes. "I'm hungry," she said softly. Charlotte felt a wave of joy hearing that. "Perfect, because I made a delicious soup just for you," she replied, guiding Leah to the table. Seeing Leah eat, Charlotte felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Each spoonful seemed to restore a little more of the girl's energy, and Charlotte sat beside her, talking and making her laugh. "You are really amazing, Leah." "Very brave," she praised, seeing the sparkle in the girl's eyes slowly return. The following days were a mix of tenderness and discoveries. Charlotte was surprised by how easily Leah bonded with her, and how that maternal instinct grew stronger with each moment. Preparing meals, dressing, playing, and comforting Leah became natural parts of her routine. Each smile and laugh from the girl were small victories that warmed Charlotte's heart, reinforcing her commitment to care for her. Mornings began with Charlotte preparing breakfast while Leah drew at the kitchen table. "Do you like pancakes, Leah?" she asked, receiving an enthusiastic "yes" in response. These simple moments were precious, and Charlotte found herself wishing they would last forever. Each shared meal, each story read before bed, strengthened the bond between them, creating a new and unexpected family. Even with the pressure of work at the hospital and caring for her parents, Charlotte had never felt so complete. There was a renewed purpose in her life, an additional reason to get up every morning. "You are my light, Leah," she said, while helping the girl dress. And although the situation was temporary until she found Leah's family, Charlotte couldn't imagine her life without the girl. It was an unexpected love, but deep and real. The community around Charlotte also noticed the change. Her friends and colleagues at the hospital offered support, enchanted by the connection between Charlotte and Leah. "You were born to be a mother, Charlotte," Haley, her best friend, commented one workday. Charlotte smiled, feeling a mix of pride and fear. "I just want to do my best for her," she replied, knowing the future was still uncertain. But for now, each day was a gift. On a sunny afternoon while Leah played in the garden, Charlotte felt a wave of peace. Sitting on the porch watching the girl run among the flowers, she realized that despite the challenges and unanswered questions, there was an indescribable beauty in the journey they were living. Leah brought a new light to her life, a new reason to smile and fight. And with maternal instinct guiding each step, Charlotte knew she was on the right path. After ensuring Leah was safe and comfortable, Charlotte knew it was time to find out what had happened. With a heavy heart, she sat at the kitchen table, phone in hand. She dialed the police department's number, ready to report the abandonment. "I found a child on the road alone. I need help finding her parents," she explained, her voice laden with worry. The response on the other end was quick and professional, assuring that an investigation would be initiated immediately. Charlotte knew she couldn't wait passively for the police's response. With her parents' permission, she decided to investigate on her own, starting with the road where she had found Leah. That afternoon, after leaving Leah under her mother's watchful care, Charlotte drove to the location, her eyes alert for any clue. The road was deserted, the silence interrupted only by the sound of tires on the asphalt. She stopped the car and began walking, looking for any sign that something had happened there. As she walked along the roadside, Charlotte found a small teddy bear half buried in the tall grass. She picked up the toy, feeling a wave of sadness. "Could this be yours, Leah?" she thought, holding the teddy bear against her chest. She continued her search, her eyes attentive to any other clue. Further ahead, she saw tire marks in the mud, suggesting that a car had stopped recently. She mentally noted the position and continued to investigate. Charlotte decided to talk to the few houses along the road. She stopped at the first house and knocked on the door. An elderly lady with gray hair and a curious look answered. "Good afternoon, Mom. I am Charlotte, a nurse at the local hospital. I found a girl abandoned on the road and I'm trying to find out what happened." "Did you see or hear anything?" she asked gently. The lady frowned, thoughtful. "Now that you mention it, I remember hearing a car stop abruptly last night. But I didn't see anything," she replied. Charlotte's investigation took her to a few more houses, but the answers were always the same. No one saw anything concrete. Despite the growing frustration, she refused to give up. Every conversation, every clue, no matter how small, was a step toward the truth. She returned to the car, the teddy bear still in hand, determined to continue her search. She knew she needed more information to help Leah and ensure something like this wouldn't happen again. Back in town, Charlotte went to the local market, a place where people usually gathered and exchanged information. She showed a photo of Leah, discreetly taken while the girl was sleeping. "Has anyone seen this child? She was found abandoned on the road," she asked several customers and employees. Most shook their heads, not recognizing the girl. But one of the cashiers, a young woman named Sophia, seemed to recognize something. "I think I saw her with a woman here a few days ago. She looked worried," she said. Charlotte thanked her and asked for more details. Sophia described the woman as tall, with dark hair and sad eyes. "She bought a few things quickly and left in a blue car," Sophia recalled. Charlotte noted everything down, thanking her again. This new information was a small but significant breakthrough. She returned home where she found Leah playing in the garden under her mother's watchful eye. "I have some leads," she said, more to herself than to others. Determined to follow this new lead, Charlotte went to the police department the next day, sharing everything she had discovered. "We need to find this woman and understand what happened," she said to the officer in charge, handing over her notes. The officer, impressed with Charlotte's dedication, promised the investigation would be intensified. Meanwhile, he advised Charlotte to keep Leah safe and continue observing any strange behavior. Days passed and Charlotte continued balancing her work at the hospital, caring for her parents and protecting Leah. Each time she looked at the girl, she felt the urgency to discover the truth grow. She spent sleepless nights, reviewing her notes and thinking of new ways to find answers. Leah, in turn, began to adapt to the new life. But Charlotte knew she couldn't rest until she ensured the girl's safe future. On a sunny afternoon, while Leah played with her new teddy bear in the garden, Charlotte received a call from the police department. "Charlotte, we found the blue car described. We need you to come identify some belongings," said the voice on the other end. Charlotte's heart raced. It was the lead she had been waiting for, a step closer to understanding Leah's story. She grabbed her car keys and prepared to go, determined to finally discover what had happened on that fateful night. Charlotte arrived at the police department, her heart racing at the possibility of finally discovering the truth about Leah. The officer led her to a room where some belongings found in the blue car were displayed. "Do you recognize anything here?" he asked, as Charlotte examined the objects. Her eyes landed on a photo of Leah, hugging a woman with dark hair and sad eyes. "It's her. This is the woman Sophia described," Charlotte said, feeling a mix of relief and concern. With the new information, the police were able to locate and bring the woman in for questioning. Charlotte was called to meet the woman, who introduced herself as Anna, Leah's mother. Her eyes were red from crying and exhaustion. "I am Anna. Please help me understand where my daughter is," she pleaded, her voice trembling. Charlotte felt a mix of compassion and a need for answers. "She is safe with me. We need to understand what happened," she said, trying to stay calm. Anna began to tell her story, her words interrupted by tears. "I was fleeing from my husband, a violent man. He threatened our lives," she revealed, with a look of deep fear. Charlotte and the officers listened intently, understanding the gravity of the situation. "I tried to protect her, but I didn't know where to go. When I stopped on that road, I thought it was safe, but I panicked and went to seek help. When I returned, Leah was gone, Anna explained, her voice choked with emotion. Anna's revelation shed new light on the situation. Charlotte felt a knot in her stomach, imagining the terror mother and daughter had experienced. "You did what you thought was best to protect your daughter," Charlotte said, trying to comfort her. Anna nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I never wanted to leave her alone. I just wanted her to be safe," she repeated, as if trying to convince herself. Charlotte held Anna's hand, feeling the depth of the mother's pain. As the police verified Anna's story, Charlotte brought Leah for a supervised meeting. The reunion was emotional and painful. "Mommy," cried Leah, running into Anna's arms, who held her with desperate strength. "My love, I missed you so much," Anna said, crying. Charlotte watched closely, her heart heavy but hopeful. Leah seemed confused, but the joy of seeing her mother was undeniable. The details of Anna and Leah's life slowly unfolded. Anna had been a young mother trapped in an abusive relationship, trying to escape to save herself and her daughter. He controlled everything. I couldn't go out, talk to anyone. When I finally managed to escape, I was terrified. I didn't know who to trust, Anna recounted, her eyes lost in painful memories. Charlotte felt a deep admiration for Anna's courage, who did everything possible to protect her daughter. Gradually, the truth about Anna's abusive relationship and her husband's threats were confirmed by the police. "We will ensure he doesn't hurt anyone else," promised the officer in charge. Anna nodded, still holding Leah tightly. Charlotte, seeing the interaction between mother and daughter, knew she had to do whatever it took to help this family find safety and peace. "We are here to help," Charlotte assured, her determination renewed. Anna began to trust Charlotte more, sharing details of her life before the escape. "I was a nurse, too, you know," Anna revealed, a slight smile on her lips. "I always wanted to help people, but after I got married, everything changed." Charlotte was surprised and touched by this revelation. "So we have more in common than we imagined," she said, smiling back. She felt increasingly connected to Anna and Leah, as if destiny had united them for a reason. With the police and social services involved, Anna and Leah were placed in a safe shelter. Charlotte continued to offer support, visiting them whenever she could. "I don't know how to thank you for everything you've done for Leah," said Anna, holding Charlotte's hands. "Just take good care of her and yourself." "You both deserve a safe and happy life," Charlotte replied, emotional. She felt that despite the challenges, Anna and Leah were finally on the right path to recovery. During one of these visits, Charlotte brought a special gift for Leah, the teddy bear she'd found on the road. "I think someone misses this," she said, handing the bear to the girl. Leah hugged the toy tightly, a smile lighting up her face. "Thank you, Charlotte," she said, her eyes shining with joy. Seeing Leah happy and safe was the greatest reward for Charlotte, who knew all the efforts had been worth it. Over time, Anna and Leah's life began to stabilize. Anna found temporary work at a community center while Leah started attending a nearby school. The tranquility that Charlotte, Anna, and Leah began to enjoy was quickly overshadowed by legal challenges. Anna was determined to obtain a restraining order against her husband, but the process was complicated and exhausting. "We need to prove the history of abuse," said the lawyer assigned by social services, a man with a serious expression and firm voice. "This means gathering testimonies, medical records, and any available evidence," he explained, as Anna nodded, her eyes filled with determination. Meanwhile, the issue of Leah's custody was also at stake. The legal system required a thorough analysis of Anna's situation, and her husband, aware of the situation, began manipulating circumstances to his advantage. "He is trying to claim that I am a negligent mother, that I abandoned our daughter," Anna said, her voice trembling with frustration and fear. Charlotte, by her side, squeezed her hand. "We will fight together," she said, feeling the gravity of the battle ahead. The first hearing was scheduled, and Charlotte decided to accompany Anna to offer support. The courtroom was an intimidating place, with its high walls and solemn atmosphere. "Everything will be fine," murmured Charlotte as they waited to be called. When they finally entered the courtroom, the environment seemed even more oppressive. The judge, a middle-aged man with thick glasses, looked at them over his papers. "Let's begin," he said, banging the gavel. The lawyers on both sides presented their arguments. Anna's lawyer spoke about the history of abuse and her attempts to protect Leah. "My client did everything she could to ensure her daughter's safety," he stated with conviction. On the other side, Anna's husband's lawyer tried to discredit her, questioning her actions and ability to care for Leah. "She abandoned the child on the road." "This is unacceptable," he argued, his voice cold and calculating. The following days were an emotional roller coaster for Anna and Charlotte. Gathering evidence required revisiting painful moments from the past. "We need the medical records from the past years," said the lawyer, while Anna rummaged through boxes of old documents. "Here are the police reports," added Charlotte, handing over a stack of papers. Each document, each testimony was a necessary step, but also a painful reminder of the abuses suffered. The legal battle also required Leah's testimony, something that Charlotte and Anna deeply feared. "She is just a child. I don't want her to go through this," said Anna, tears running down her face. The lawyer tried to reassure her. "We will do this as sensitively as possible. Leah can talk to a child psychologist who will present the testimony to the court," he explained. Despite the anguish, Anna agreed, knowing that Leah's truth was crucial to the case. The day of Leah's testimony arrived, and Charlotte took the girl to the psychologist's office. "You just need to tell what happened, okay?" said Charlotte, trying to hide her own anxiety. Leah nodded, holding tightly to the teddy bear that Charlotte had found on the road. The psychologist, a kind and patient man, began to talk to Leah, using a playful approach to make her feel comfortable. Charlotte waited outside, each minute dragging on like an eternity. While waiting for the outcome of Leah's testimony, Charlotte and Anna continued to face daily challenges. Uncertainty hung in the air, but the friendship between them strengthened. "You are like a sister to me," said Anna one night as the two talked in the kitchen. "And you are the family I chose," replied Charlotte, moved. Together they found the strength to move forward despite all the adversities. The pressure of the legal case began to affect Anna's emotional health. "I'm so tired, Charlotte. What if we don't succeed?" she said, exhausted. Charlotte held her hands, looking into her eyes. "We will succeed. We have the truth on our side," she affirmed with unwavering determination. These words gave Anna the necessary strength to keep fighting, even when everything seemed unbearable. Finally, the day of the verdict arrived. The courtroom was crowded, every movement accompanied by anxious looks. The judge entered, and silence took over the room. "After considering all the evidence and testimonies, I have reached a decision," he began, his voice echoing through the walls. Anna held Charlotte's hand, her eyes fixed on the judge. Every second seemed to drag as they awaited their fate. The judge continued, detailing the reasons for his decision. "Considering the proven history of abuse and the mother's actions to protect the child, the court decides in favor of the mother," he finally declared. Anna let out a deep sigh, tears of relief streaming down her face. Charlotte hugged her, feeling a wave of emotion. "We did it," she whispered as Anna and Leah hugged. The legal battle had been won, but they knew there was still a long way to go to rebuild their lives. With the initial court decision in Anna's favor, Charlotte knew that the fight for Leah's permanent custody was just beginning. Lawyers on both sides were ready for a prolonged battle. "We need to be prepared for anything," warned Anna's lawyer, reviewing the legal strategies. "He won't give up easily," he added, referring to Anna's husband, whose influence and resources were significant. Anna nodded, determined not to let fear dominate her. The first steps included constant meetings with the social workers and child psychologists, who assessed Anna's home environment. "We need to ensure Leah is safe and well cared for," explained the social worker, a woman with a kind but firm demeanor. Charlotte, always by Anna's side, helped create a welcoming and stable environment for the girl. Every detail was important, from organizing Leah's room to the daily routine they followed. During one of these meetings, Leah was invited to draw her dream house. "Show us what the perfect place for you to live would look like," asked the psychologist, offering paper and colored pencils. Leah drew a simple house surrounded by flowers, with her and Anna holding hands in the garden. "And where is Charlotte?" asked the psychologist, noticing Charlotte's absence in the drawing. Leah smiled and added Charlotte beside them, holding a cat. "Charlotte is always with us," Leah said with an innocent smile. Meanwhile, Anna's husband's lawyer spared no effort to discredit her. "We will prove she is incapable of taking care of her daughter," he said during a tense meeting. The courtroom was often a stage for heated confrontations with intense accusations and defenses. She abandoned the child on the road, accused the husband's lawyer, trying to undermine Anna's credibility. Each session was an emotional endurance test for Anna and Charlotte, who remained steadfast, supporting each other. Charlotte testified at several hearings, describing her experience finding Leah and the subsequent care she provided. "I found Leah alone on the road, scared and vulnerable. Since then, I have seen Anna do everything she can to protect and care for her daughter," she stated with conviction. Her words were a powerful testament to Anna's dedication, but the final outcome was still in the judge's hands. Every word spoken was crucial. The psychologist and social workers' reports began to be presented, all highlighting the strong and healthy bond between Anna and Leah. "Leah clearly expresses that she feels safe and loved with her mother," said the psychologist, presenting her findings. These reports were vital to Anna's defense, reinforcing the idea that the girl was in a positive environment. Charlotte felt a growing hope with each favorable report, but knew they still couldn't relax. Anna's husband, however, brought witnesses who tried to paint her as unstable and negligent. "She is not capable of offering a safe home," claimed one witness. Each accusation was a stab in Anna's heart, who struggled to stay calm. "They are lying. All of this is part of his control," she told Charlotte during breaks in the hearings. Charlotte hugged her, offering words of encouragement and promising that the truth would prevail. One of the most critical moments was Anna's final testimony. "My daughter is everything to me. I made mistakes, yes, but I always did what I thought was best to protect her," Anna said, her voice choked with emotion. "I ask the court to allow me to continue being the mother Leah deserves," she concluded, tears in her eyes. The silence in the courtroom was palpable, everyone awaiting the judge's decision. Charlotte held Anna's hand, sharing the tension of the moment. Finally, the day of the decision arrived. The courtroom was crowded and the judge seemed more serious than ever. After reviewing all the evidence and testimonies, this court acknowledges the mother's efforts in creating a safe and loving environment for the child, he began. Charlotte felt her heart beat faster, each word of the judge sounding like a hammer in her mind. "Therefore, I decide that full custody of Leah will be granted to the mother, Anna," he concluded, banging the gavel. Emotion took over Anna, who cried openly, hugged by Charlotte and Leah. "We did it, Leah. We are free," Anna whispered as Leah smiled, not fully understanding the magnitude of the moment but feeling the joy and relief around her. After the court victory, Anna, Leah, and Charlotte faced a new reality full of challenges. Anna was still dealing with past traumas, and although the judge's decision brought relief, the path to healing was long. "We will overcome this together," said Charlotte, holding Anna's hand firmly. Leah, noticing the seriousness of the adults, offered a shy smile that lit up the room. It was this smile that gave them strength. The first challenge was finding a new place to live, far from the shadows of the past. "We need a home that is our refuge," said Anna, as they visited potential houses. They found a small, cozy apartment with a garden where Leah could play. "This place seems perfect," commented Charlotte, seeing the joy in Leah's eyes as she ran across the lawn. The move marked the beginning of a new phase in their lives. Adjusting to a new routine was not easy. Anna started working part-time at a local clinic, trying to balance her responsibilities with caring for Leah. "I'm tired, but it's a good tiredness," she said to Charlotte one night as they shared tea in the kitchen. Charlotte smiled, knowing that every effort was a step towards a more stable and happy life. They took turns caring for Leah. creating a supportive environment. Leah, in turn, started attending a new school. "I'll miss you, Mommy," she said on the first day, hugging Anna tightly. "You will make many friends and learn new things." "I will be here waiting for you," Anna replied, trying to hold back tears. Charlotte accompanied Leah to the school door, feeling a mix of pride and apprehension. Each little achievement of Leah was celebrated as a great victory. Charlotte also faced her own challenges. Balancing work at the hospital, caring for her parents, and supporting Anna and Leah was exhausting. "You need time for yourself," suggested Anna one morning. "I know, but there's so much to do," Charlotte replied with a tired smile. She started reserving small moments of self-care, walks in the park, quiet readings, recharging the energy needed to continue. The local community began to support the new family in unexpected ways. Neighbors organized small gatherings, offering help and friendship. "You are part of our community now," said Mrs. Mary, bringing a basket of fresh fruits. This support was a crucial foundation, reminding Anna and Charlotte that they were not alone. "People's kindness never ceases to amaze me," commented Anna, moved by the generosity around her. Each day brought new challenges and small victories. Anna began attending therapy sessions, facing the traumas that still haunted her. "I am starting to feel like I can breathe again," she said after one of these sessions. Leah flourished with the love and stability offered by her mother and Charlotte. "Today I learned to draw a tree," she said, proudly displaying her creations. Each drawing, each new word learned was a testament to the resilience and joy that the girl brought. "You are our little artist," said Charlotte, hanging the drawings on the fridge. These small celebrations were a constant reminder of the power of love and hope. The sun rose over a new day, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. Leah ran through the garden, her laughter echoing like music. Charlotte watched from the porch, a peaceful smile on her lips. The house that once seemed just a temporary shelter had now become a true home, filled with love and hope. The marks of the past began to dissolve, giving way to a promising future. Anna also joined the scene of serenity, her heart finally finding peace. She was working full-time at the local clinic where her talent and compassion were appreciated. "I am so proud of you," said Charlotte one night as they sat in the kitchen, drinking tea. "You have overcome so much, Anna. And see how much Leah has flourished," she added, watching Leah play with her teddy bear. The days were filled with a healthy and joyful routine. Leah attended school where she made new friends and learned enthusiastically. "Today, I learned to write my name," she exclaimed, showing a paper full of scribbles. "It's perfect, Leah," praised Charlotte, hugging the girl affectionately. These simple yet meaningful moments were the foundation of the new beginning they were building. Weekends were reserved for adventures and exploration. Walks in the park, museum visits, and picnics by the lake became sacred rituals. "Let's go to the park tomorrow?" asked Leah, her eyes shining with expectation. "Of course, my love," Anna replied, smiling. These activities not only strengthened family bonds but also healed past wounds, replacing pain with joy. Charlotte also found time for herself, something she had learned to value. Leah and Anna encouraged her to pursue her hobbies and interests. "You deserve a break, too, Charlotte," said Anna, gently pushing her out the door. "Go and enjoy your day." And Charlotte, after so many struggles, finally allowed herself these moments of self-care, knowing she was surrounded by love and support. Years passed and Leah grew up healthy and happy, her childhood filled with love and security. Charlotte and Anna, always present at every stage, celebrated each achievement and learning. "You will conquer the world, Leah," said Charlotte as the girl, now a confident young woman, prepared for another day of school. The future seemed bright, and the past, though always present, no longer dictated their lives. The connection between Charlotte and Anna also deepened over time. They became not only friends but sisters at heart. "Our journey was difficult, but it brought us here," reflected Anna one starry night. "And I wouldn't change anything," Charlotte replied. These quiet conversations under the stars were moments of reflection and gratitude, reminding them of everything they had overcome together. In the small town, everyone knew the story of Anna and Charlotte's resilience and love. They were seen as an example of strength and love. "You inspire all of us," said the local pastor during an end-of-year ceremony. And Charlotte, with her heart full of gratitude, knew that the true miracle was the unwavering love they shared. Each challenge overcome was proof that together, they could overcome any adversity. Community festivities became special occasions. At Christmas, Charlotte and Anna's house was always full of friends and neighbors, sharing laughter and stories. "This is the best Christmas ever," said Leah, admiring the carefully decorated Christmas tree. And Charlotte, observing the joy around her, felt a deep peace. "Yes, it's the best ever," she agreed, knowing they had finally found their place in the world. As the sun set over the small town, Charlotte, Anna, and Leah sat together on the porch contemplating the horizon. "We have so much to be thankful for," Anna said, breaking the silence with a contented sigh. "Yes, we do," Charlotte agreed, smiling at Leah. Their journey had been marked by struggles and victories, but now, with hearts full of hope, they were ready for whatever the future held. If you enjoyed the incredible story of Charlotte, Leah, and Anna, subscribe to our channel and activate notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. If you love exciting chronicles and wish to support our channel to continue bringing more quality content, consider contributing through Buy Me a Coffee. The link is in the first pinned comment. Your help is essential for us to keep improving. Thank you for your support. See you in the next exciting chronicle.